If you're over 60 and you've been feeling weaker, more tired, or like your body just doesn't bounce back the way it used to, this may be one of the most overlooked reasons. And no, I'm not talking about some rare disease. I'm talking about protein. Because after 60, not getting enough protein doesn't always look dramatic. It doesn't come with a big warning light. It often shows up in small, easy-to-dismiss ways, the kind of changes people blame on aging every single day. Maybe getting up from a chair feels harder than it used to. Maybe you feel hungry again not long after eating. Maybe your legs feel less steady, your arms weaker, your body softer, your energy lower. And here's the part many people don't realize. Sometimes those aren't just random signs of getting older. Sometimes they're signs your body simply isn't getting enough of the building material it needs to hold on to muscle, strength, and recovery. In this video, I'll walk you through 8 signs your body may need more protein after 60. And make sure you stay to the end, because the last few signs are the ones people miss most often, especially if they think they're eating pretty normally. Let's start with one of the biggest clues. Sign number 1, you feel weaker doing ordinary things, not extreme things. Ordinary things, getting out of a low chair, carrying grocery bags, walking upstairs, opening a heavy door, standing at the kitchen counter for a while, and realizing your legs are tiring sooner than they used to. Does that sound familiar? A lot of people think, well, I'm over 60. Of course I'm not as strong as I used to be. And yes, some loss of muscle with age is common. But that's not the whole story. Your body still needs protein every single day to repair and maintain muscle tissue. And after 60, that process becomes less efficient. In simple terms, your body doesn't respond to protein as strongly as it used to, which means getting too little matters even more now than it did in your 30s or 40s. So when protein intake stays low for long enough, the body has a harder time maintaining muscle, and that can show up as weakness before it shows up as anything else. Not bodybuilder weakness. Real-life weakness. The kind that quietly chips away at independence. And that leads to sign number 2, one that many people don't connect to protein at all. You're getting hungry again very quickly after meals. Have you ever eaten breakfast, and in an hour or two later you're already looking for toast, crackers, fruit, or something sweet? Or maybe lunch doesn't seem to hold you the way it used to. That can happen for a few reasons. But one very common one is that the meal simply didn't contain enough protein. Protein helps with satiety. In plain English, it helps a meal actually stay with you. It slows digestion, supports blood sugar stability, and gives the brain a stronger signal that you've eaten enough. So if breakfast is mostly toast, cereal, fruit, oatmeal, or coffee and a biscuit, you may feel like you ate, but your body may not feel truly fed. And over time, that can create a cycle that works against healthy aging. You get hungrier sooner, snack more, crave quick energy, and still don't give your muscles what they need. That brings us to sign number 3. Your body feels softer, even if your weight hasn't changed much. This one catches a lot of people off guard. Some people say, I'm not gaining that much weight, but my body looks different. My arms seem softer. My legs don't feel as firm. My clothes fit differently, especially around the waist, hips, or thighs. What's happening? Sometimes it's not just fat gain. Sometimes it's muscle loss happening quietly in the background. And this is one of the most frustrating changes after 60, because the scale can stay almost the same while body composition shifts in the wrong direction. In other words, you may be losing muscle and gaining fat without realizing it. That's one reason protein matters So much. Muscle isn't just about looking toned. It's about stability, metabolism, balance, recovery, and your ability to keep doing everyday things without help. So if your body feels softer and weaker at the same time, don't ignore that combination. Now here's sign number 4, and this one is huge if you've been blaming low energy on poor sleep or age alone. You're tired in a way that feels heavy, not just sleepy. Not the kind of tired where you just want to nap because you slept badly. I mean that drained, heavy, low-power feeling where your body feels underpowered, where standing, walking, cooking, carrying, even showering feels like it takes more out of you than it should. Of course, fatigue can have many causes. Sleep problems, low B12, thyroid issues, medication side effects, blood sugar swings. All of those matter. But low protein can absolutely be part of the picture too, especially if the fatigue comes with weakness, poor recovery, frequent hunger, or visible muscle loss. Why? Because protein isn't just for muscles in the gym. Your body uses protein to repair tissues, support immune function, produce enzymes and hormones, and maintain muscle that helps you move through the day. So when intake stays too low for too long, some people don't just feel older, they feel underfueled. And sign number 5 is one of the clearest clues that your body may not be recovering the way it should. You stay sore longer or bounce back more slowly after activity. Maybe you did some gardening, went on a longer walk, climbed stairs more than usual, cleaned the house, or spent the day out and about. Nothing extreme. But the next day or even 2 days later, you feel unusually wiped out. Your legs feel done. Your body feels slower to recover. You think, why did that take so much out of me? If a normal day of activity leaves you wiped out for far too long, that can be a sign your body doesn't have the raw material it needs to repair itself efficiently. Protein plays a major role in tissue repair and muscle recovery. So when intake is too low, your body may simply struggle to bounce back the way it used to. Now, that doesn't mean every sore muscle is a protein problem. But if slow recovery shows up alongside weakness, frequent hunger, softer muscles, or low energy, it's worth paying attention. Sign number 6, your hair, nails, or skin seem weaker than they used to. This is one of those signs people often separate from the rest of the picture. They'll say, my nails are brittle, my hair seems thinner, my skin doesn't seem to heal as quickly, and they'll think of those as cosmetic problems. But protein is not just about muscle. It's part of the structure of skin, hair, nails, and the tissues your body repairs every day. So if you've noticed that your nails break more easily, your hair seems to have lost strength, or small cuts and scrapes seem to take longer to heal, don't automatically assume it's just one of those age things. It may be part of a larger pattern. And that leads to sign number 7. You're losing confidence in your balance, steadiness, or physical ability. Not because you had a major injury. Not because you suddenly became frail overnight. But because something feels different. Maybe you hold the railing more tightly now. Maybe getting off the floor feels harder. Maybe you hesitate before carrying laundry down the stairs. Maybe you're not falling, but you don't feel as solid as you used to. That matters, because one of the biggest dangers of low muscle intake over time is not just how you look. It's what happens to your strength, your stability, and your independence. Muscle is what helps you catch yourself. Muscle is what helps you stand up, step up, turn around, carry things, and recover when you trip or lose footing. And if protein intake stays too low for too long, the body may gradually lose the muscle reserve that protects you. This is why so many people think the problem is balance, when the deeper problem is that the body no longer has enough strength underneath that balance. And now sign number 8, the one I really didn't want to leave out because it's so common after 60. You think you're eating enough, But when you look closely, most of your meals are actually low in protein. This may be the most overlooked sign of all, because many older adults aren't intentionally undereating protein. They're just eating in a pattern that makes it easy to miss. Breakfast might be toast and tea, or oatmeal and fruit, or coffee and something small. Lunch might be soup, crackers, a sandwich with very little actual protein, or leftovers that are mostly starch. Dinner may be the only meal with a meaningful amount of protein, and by then, the whole day has already been light. So the person says, "But I eat chicken sometimes. I have eggs now and then. I'm not vegetarian. I eat normally." And that may be true, but I eat some protein, and I consistently get enough protein to support strength after 60 are not the same thing. That distinction matters, because after 60, the goal isn't just to avoid severe deficiency. The goal is to give the body enough protein, consistently enough, to support muscle maintenance, recovery, mobility, and daily function. Now, before we talk about what to do, I want to say something important. Not every case of weakness, fatigue, or muscle loss is caused by low protein. Sometimes there's more going on: thyroid issues, anemia, low B12, poor sleep, medications, low appetite, depression, blood sugar swings, kidney disease, dental problems, or trouble shopping and cooking regularly. Sometimes it's a combination. So this video isn't about blaming every symptom on one thing. It's about recognizing a pattern many people miss. A pattern where the body feels older, weaker, softer, and less resilient, not only because of age, but because it isn't being fed in a way that protects muscle. So what can you do starting now? First, make sure protein shows up at breakfast, not just dinner. This alone can change a lot. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, kefir, tofu, protein-rich oatmeal, smoked salmon, or a smoothie with real protein can make breakfast far more supportive than toast alone. Second, think in terms of protein at every meal, not protein once a day. A body trying to preserve muscle after 60 does better with regular opportunities to use protein throughout the day. Third, if your appetite is smaller than it used to be, make the protein count. Instead of filling up first on bread, sweets, or low-protein snacks, try building the meal around a protein source, and then adding the rest. Fourth, pair protein with strength-friendly movement. This doesn't have to mean a gym. Sit to stands from a chair, resistance bands, wall push-ups, step-ups, light hand weights, even carrying groceries safely. All of that tells the body, keep this muscle, we still need it. And finally, if weakness, unintentional weight loss, poor appetite, swelling, kidney disease, trouble swallowing, or major fatigue are part of the picture, it's worth discussing with a healthcare professional, especially before making big changes to your diet, because many people spend years blaming themselves. They think they've become lazy. They think they've lost discipline. They think feeling weaker is just the price of getting older. But sometimes they're fighting a problem they were never taught to look for. And sometimes the body isn't failing. Sometimes it's simply undersupplied. If even 2 or 3 of these signs felt familiar, take that seriously. Not fearfully, just honestly. Because protecting muscle after 60 isn't about vanity. It's about energy, stability, recovery, confidence, and staying independent for as long as possible. And if you want, tell me in the comments, which of these signs surprise you the most, or which one sounds the most like you right now.